Okay, this is the SOARA Elmer Saturday TechNet. We operate this net on Saturdays that we don't have a meeting at either Gilliran Park or Doheny Beach or some other place like the Murray Center. This is a net to kind of fill in the gaps on the weeks that we don't have a face-to-face type meeting. It's open to all licensed amateurs, and all licensed amateurs are welcome to attend our meetings. I just updated February to the 21st for the face-to-face meeting, and hopefully that was updated. I think Dale updated the calendar, and I updated the SOARA Elmer Saturday webpage. Okay, well, let's see if anybody is out there, and if they have any questions, let me know. Give me your call sign phonetically, your name, and whether you have a question or not. Please call now.
6 November, Oscar Victor, Ray, and I have a question.
Outside, so I'm one and done.
Alpha Echo 6 Hotel, Ray.
I got K6NOV, Ray. AI6WE is one and done, I believe. Did I get that right, Mike?
USL.
I'll mark you 73 on that one. And then AE6H, Ray. So I got 3. Anybody else like to join the net? Please call now.
W6EDT. Delta Sierra, David, no question.
We're all doubling like crazy today. I got W6EDT, Dale, and then W6DS, David, I'm sorry. And then anybody else like to join the net? Please call now.
Whiskey 6, Charlie, Alpha Golf. Well, good morning.
Charlie. So David and then Charlie. Anybody else like to join the SOARA Elmer Saturday, tongue-tied this morning, technical net, and whether you have a question or not? Okay, I think we got them all, and if I heard Ray right, he had a question, so let's hand it over to Ray. K6NOV, take it away, WA6ED.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and thanks for running the net, Ed. Yeah, so one project I want to get done this year is getting a permanent installation into my vehicle. So I have a radio ready to go. I just need to get the antenna. I decided I'm going to go on the back side on my luggage rack, or either on the lip mount on the hatch back part of the SUV to keep it out of the way of paddle boards and surfboards and that sort of thing. More? So the question I have is, I'm just looking at different mounts and things, and I noticed that you can pretty much get everything in either a UHF mount or a connector or a NMO. And I was just wondering if anybody had any opinions on what direction I should go. This is really going to be my first radio mount on a car, so I can kind of pick one and go that direction. And just curious on what people's opinions are on that. So back to net control, K6NOV.
WA6ED for the SOARA Elmer Saturday TechNet. Let's see if anybody out there has some opinions. Who has an opinion for Ray? Please call now.
Echo 6 Hotel.
Okay, go ahead and take it, Ray. WA6ED.
Well, it should be no surprise. I always have an opinion. This is the direction I go in, and it's done for universal compatibility, if you will. Is I go with a NMO base. The NMO is tried and true. It was originated by Motorola, and honestly, it's hard to beat their reliability and Batwing's construction, etc. So I start with a Motorola base, which gives you a pretty good, if you're going through sheet metal especially, which is where they shine, direct drill a hole and mount. But then I purchased they're inexpensive, the NMO to UHF adapter. That way, and if I'm using an MO antenna, I throw the adapter in the glove box, if you will, or some similar place. If I happen to want to mount a UHF antenna, I can just pull out the adapter, screw it onto the NMO. So it doesn't seem to be any reduction in performance, and I'm ready to go with whatever antenna I'm presented with. So that's my 1.5 cents worth, although we can't find pennies anymore. Over to net, 86 cents.
Okay, well, thank you, Ray. I have an opinion, but I'm going to see if anybody else wants to go first. Please call now.
Check in.
Go ahead and check in, WA6ED.
Morning, guys. Morning. Thanks for running to that KR6J here.
Okie, well, you're recognized. And do you have any comments for Ray on his car mobile antenna choice, NMO or UHF?
I'm afraid I don't. I mean, I just turned the radio on and I heard NMO mount, and I said amen to that. I like NMO mounts. I think they're great, but that's the only comment I have. Back to you.
I was wanting to see if anybody else had opinions. I've used UHF and NMO. UHF on the back of my Infinity and G35, and it worked just fine for both HF and UHF VHF. I use the UHF VHF more than the other. I think, if I remember right, the T-Hunt T has an antenna on it that's NMO and has an NMO mount, if I remember right. I could be wrong. But I think either one is a decent choice. I personally would go with NMO if I had to do it all over again. But I already have some antenna mounts that I bought that are UHF, so I'd probably go UHF because I have the antenna and stuff already. But I think either choice is a fairly good one. UHF is not quite as high on that high frequency. In fact, on an HT, I just was using BNC, which does go up to about 11 gigahertz. Take a look at the specs on the connectors. And like SMA goes up to, I think, 24, 25 gigahertz. So you never use that. So NMO is probably a good choice, but it really depends on what you already have. That way you don't have to spend so much. Over to Ray, K6NOV, WA6ED.
Alrighty. Well, I like Ray 6H's idea of that little adapter. I didn't know that exists, so that's a good option. Start with NMO, and then you can always add a UHF adapter on there if you have to. But yeah, I'm just fresh. I'm just starting, so and I'm not going to be drilling holes, Ray. I'm going to just use one of those luggage rack mounts, or there's also the lip mount I saw, if I could make that actually work with the way my hatchback opens. But those are my options. So I think that sounds good. Start with NMO, and then you can always add that adapter if you end up getting a UHF antenna to put on there. So thanks for the comments. Over to Net Control, K6NOV.
Okay, thanks, Ray. The other thing to think about is water tightness, and I think NMO might be more weatherproof than UHF, and it might be hard to wrap. I know most of the UHF antennas screw in, and they don't have any like moving parts, so it's probably a little bit more watertight than a normal UHF connector. Okay, well, let's see if there's any other comments on this horse. Make sure we beat it to death. And any other comments? Please call now. Okay, any new questions? Please call now. All right, let's go ahead and do a round robin. Ray, K6NOV, hand it over to Ray, AE6H. Ray, hand it to Dale, W6EDT. Dale, hand it to David, W6DS. David, hand it to Charlie, W6CAG, Claude. Man, I mess that up every once in a while. Sorry, Claude. And then Claude handed over to Kenan, KR6J. I actually parsed Claude's call sign better than I parse his name. So I'm in trouble now. All right, take it away, Ray, WA6ED.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, boy, names and call signs sure gets confusing sometimes when you're doing Net Control, that's for sure. But Happy New Year to everyone on the net. I'm always excited. You got your New Year's resolutions, your typical ones or whatever. But I always have like, okay, what am I going to do on radio this year? So I'm thinking of getting that radio installed, so I have a permanent installation on the car, and then lots of other projects to work on too. So I'll just leave it at that. So over to Ray, AE6H, K6NOV.
Thanks, Ray, and Ray E6H, and echoes a Happy New Year to everybody. And the antenna is always a conundrum, and even though I've read and always somewhat believed you're not a real ham until you've drilled a hole in a brand new car for an antenna. But that said, I'm always reluctant to do so. As your lip mounts, I've found some very compact lip mounts. There's no bracket, no adjustability. U-shaped, slide on over. They have an NMO base, but they work well on the hatchback, on my Escape hatchback. One thing you need to check is, how much length of antenna you're going to have and what's going to get in the way when it pulls completely. Luckily, I use shorter antennas, but the angles are such on mine. Even if I used a 4-foot or 3-foot or 4-foot long VHF UHF antenna, it would still clear anything I had on the roof or a roof rack, with the exception of maybe a long surfboard. But anyway, so that's something to look at. The very thin, flat ones versus ones that stick up on a bracket that allows you a bunch of adjustability. Sometimes that's necessary. It may not be in your case. And over to Dale, 86H.
Thank you, Ray, and thanks, Ed, for running the net. Very happy New Year to everybody. Yeah, I guess the only thing I'd add is that some of those mounts, I think Mike WD6E has a mount that goes to the luggage rack that has a motor in it that folds over so that you can bring the vehicle into a tighter space, like a garage or something. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that might be another option you could look at. And also, when it's in the down position, it doesn't, I guess, impact very much other things that are up there. So, yeah, good question. I do prefer NMO because they're mechanically much more stable than UHF. But that's just me. Anyway, over to David, W6DS from W6CVT.
Okay, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you, Ed, for running the net, as always. And I will simply say, I'll pile on and say NMO. I didn't jump in earlier because I thought people said it already. But that's my personal choice as well. And over to Claude, W6CAG, W6DS.
Thank you. Here, David, W6CAG here. And Ed, I don't know what to do. Can I say? But you can call me Charlie if that's fine. As I used to say, call me whatever you like, just don't call me late for dinner or something like that. Anyhow, I've used the NMO mount in the past. The antenna I have on my car now is a lip mount on the hatchback, and it's neither of those. I think the mount and the antenna came as a package. And the antenna is a dual band, 2 meter, 75 centimeter, which matches nicely with the dual band radio that I've got in the car. The NMO is certainly the mount of choice if you're going to punch a hole in the car. I would say it's very low profile when the antenna's off, and it also tends to be watertight, so that it won't leak. The typical UHF, class SO239 style is generally not designed to be as to be sealing against water getting through. But you're gonna mount it on a luggage rack or on a lip, so it doesn't matter really. If you're going to be changing antennas, then I suppose that you want to have a mount like the NMO. But if it's just going to be the single, you just want the antenna to match the radio, and you're not going to be changing it, then you may even get a lower profile package if you buy the mount and the antenna as one package. So there. Kenan, how are you? Happy New Year, everybody. Over to you, Kenan, W6CAG here.
Thank you, Claude. Good morning to you, and Happy New Year to everybody on the net. What can I say that hasn't already been said about the NMO? Don't want to beat the dead horse. Big fan of it anyway. I got nothing else. Got the day off from riding the bike to wet streets. Probably more wet on the way. So I thought I would just jump into the net here and see what sort of things are going on. Oops, and I'm not learning how to cue my radio properly. Anyway, I'll with that I'm gonna make a graceful bowing out of here. I'm gonna say my 73. So this will be my 73 round. Ed, thank you for running, and everybody have a wonderful Saturday. Back to, I guess I'm at the end of the list, so back to next one. KR6J.
UA6ED for the SOARA Saturday TechNet. And thank you for participating, Kenan, and also Mike, AI6WE. And let's see if anybody else wants to join the net. If you'd like to join the net and say hello, please call now. Okay, yeah, I just looked up. AI says NMO mounts are designed for permanent installation on vehicles and better signal performance due to their secure connection to the vehicle's metal body. Well, UHF is more commonly used for temporary setups and are not waterproof. So if you use the UHF, you probably ought to try to wrap it with some of that rubberized tape or something if you can seal it up a little bit. But since I took my antennas on and off my Infinity fairly often, I had an ATAS for HF. It really wasn't that big a deal. And then after a car wash or rain, I'd either have covers on it or it was in the garage. So those were very spoiled UHF mounts. So anyway, that's just my. I think either will work okay, but if you don't have the stuff, I just go with NMO and be done with it. A better connector. It stands for New Motorola, and then O. And they don't say what the O stands for, but apparently New Motorola mount of some sort. So, or MO for MOUNT. So that might make sense. So New Motorola mount. I wonder what the old Motorola mount looks like. There's my digression. All right. Well, I better shut up and get this net moving along again. We do have a net tomorrow on Sunday at 8 a.m., the 40-meter net on 7.2 megahertz. Phil typically runs that net. Sometimes Dale pinch hits. And then I usually run a 9 a.m. 10-meter net on 28.415. And man, it was lively last week. We had people from Tennessee and Missouri or all kinds of other places, Oregon. So 10 meters is at least last week was pretty lively. Okay, we don't know what this week will be. K6NOV, take it away. WA6CD.
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't have much more to add. Other than I guess I'm looking forward to Winter Field Day. Hopefully, we're not getting any more of this rain on that weekend. But if not, we'll be there and getting some radio time out there at Gilleran. That's always fun. Let's see. What are we doing? Oh, we're doing measurements and nano VNAs this month on SOARA Saturday. So yeah, looking forward to that. I actually have a unfinished linked dipole for portable use. So I think we'll bring that and get that tuned up with some nano VNAs. That might be a good thing to do. Over to Ray, AE6H, K6LB.
Thanks, Ray. And this is Ray, AE6H. And nothing more to add. Again, I can go wrong with NMO. But again, it seems like most of us are biased along that. Mother Moto could not be wrong. And with that, over to Dale, AE6H.
Well, thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. And yeah, I've got an ATAS 120 that I got at an auction, from an auction purchase that I have to figure out how to mount. I'm thinking about mounting it on a trunk lid mount, but I'm a little worried about having such a heavy antenna swinging off such a light mounting arrangement. So I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit. Yes, and SOARA Saturday and Winter Field Day will be fun. SOARA Saturday is inside, so it shouldn't matter if it rains. Winter Field Day, I hope it does not, because it would be a lot less fun if it rains. With that, I'll pass it to David, W6DS.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to those two events as well. I'll be curious to see how people use their nano VNAs and signal, test equipment, and then also Winter Field Day. And then What I'm up to lately is I am trying to do Morse code or decode Morse code real time using a GPU. So that's kind of my fun. I did it once before using AI to use a spectrogram and convert the audio to a 2D image. Let me reset. Convert the basically the audio to video and then feed that through, and that works, but that's very inefficient, but it's what most AIs like to look at. I'm going to go a different route this time and hopefully be able to do it in real time, much like voice recognition works. So just a fun little side project and using AI at home. And I'm using AI to write it. So it'll be a fun little experiment to see how fast I can get through it and how much the AI assistant causes me to stumble. Because it's more like guiding a intern and working with an intern than working with an expert. And with that, I will hand it over to Claude, W6CAG, W6DF.
All right, David, thank you. The idea of using AI or whatever to do the interface between you and CW system, transmit, receive. It's got me thinking that how long before I can just sit here in front of my radio and talk like I am now, and then have the radio just translate all that into CW and blast it out to somebody, and then I'll turn around and listen to the reply, and it'll turn around and turn it into a nice voice. I can choose whether I want the British or the whatever, the different accents or whatever. Just kind of pretend that I'm having a rag shoot and just have it converted into CW. Somehow that just sounds wrong, doesn't it? Anyway, and one last comment on NMO. It's been a long time since I mounted an antenna on the car, other than right now. Of course, I got one on a lip mount, but in the past, I had many different vehicles over the years, and I punched holes in to put in an NMO mount, either in the middle of a trunk lid or when I was driving a Volkswagen Bug. I had an NMO mount right top in the middle of the roof, kind of like an old World War I German Army helmet. It makes for a fairly uniform pattern when you drive the car around. Doesn't matter which way the car is pointed too much. And I never had an issue with trade-in value. It seemed that they didn't care. They could patch a hole pretty easily, and they just kind of took it. Sometimes I left the NMO mount there because it was old, and sometimes I took it with me. Left the hole, put a plug in. Bought one of those rubber plugs that fits in the hole. Okay, back over to you, Ed. I guess I'm tail end Charlie, W6ED.
WA6ED for the SOARA Elmer Saturday TechNet. And thank you, tail end Charlie. See, now I know why I called you Charlie. It's your fault, Claude. Yeah, I got off the hook really easy on that one. No, just messing with you. But yeah, I don't think, if you keep your car for 10 years or something like that, it's probably not going to affect much on resale value anyway. My Infinity, it would cost more to fix my dashboard LED issue than what it cost to sell it, and what it was worth. So at some point, there's diminishing return on worrying about drilling a hole in your car. That's for sure, if you intend to keep it. My problem with my Subaru Outback is there's so many electronic things stuck underneath the driver's seat, passenger seat. They're all over the place. I don't even know where I'd mount a radio, so I put a handy scratchy on a gooseneck with a higher gain antenna, and that seems to work okay. But, these cars these days, I'd be afraid, especially with sunroofs or moonroofs, you better understand what's going on with your roof before you drill a hole. You might be drilling it in the absolute worst place possible. So you got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing, or talk to the dealer, or X-ray it or something. If you could even do that. All right, well, let's have a 73 round. It sounds like we're winding down a little bit, and we got nets tomorrow, and we'll see how it all goes. And good luck on your NMO mount, Ray, if that's the way you go. Probably more watertight. That's the way I'd go. If I'm going to do another antenna in my car, I'll probably just go do NMO, especially since it's the new Motorola mount. Must be better. Okay, over to Ray, K6NOV, WA6ED.
All right, thanks, Ed, and thanks everyone for their comments. And yeah, I think I'm going to go NMO. Especially if I were to ever drill into the roof, but I decided I can't do that just because of the surfboards and things that go on the top of the car. So I think the luggage mount on the side is going to be a better route. But yeah, I'll start off with NMO, and then that way, as I build antennas and other things, and maybe other cars, I'll have a foundation of NMO. So that should work well. All right, well, thanks for running the net. Thanks for everyone's comments. Happy New Year to everyone again, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. 73 y'all. K6NOV over to AE6H.
Well, thanks everybody, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend as well. 7-3, AE6H, over to Dale.
Well, thank you, Ray, and thanks, Ed, again for running the net. Your project sounds interesting, David. I'm assuming that you're using AI to create a neural network, which then will be executed in C code on a processor of some kind or another. So it looks sounds promising. Similar, if that's what you're doing, to what was being done, was talked about at Pacificon as one of the talks. Anyway, 73 everybody, and talk to y'all later. W6DS, go ahead.
Okay, I'm not sure if David signed or not. David, W6DS, over to you. WA6ED.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was getting handed to. I was expecting it to get handed to Dale, but maybe I stepped out of turn or missed it. Anyhow, I caught that it was presented at Pacificon. I'll have to see if I can find that paper or that presentation. That's interesting. And with that, I'll say 7-3 to everybody. Have a great weekend. If you're out there driving, drive safe in the rain. And over to Claude, 7-3 everyone, W6DS.
Thank you, David. And it was Dale that passed it over to you. Oh well. Say, Ed, he passed the baton over to David. Oh well, 7-3 everybody. You have a great day, and maybe talk to you tomorrow. I'll be on plan to be on 10-meter net tomorrow morning. I'll try. And Happy New Year and all that. Ed, back over to you. You can tie the ribbon. W6CAG, Lake Forest.
Thank you, Claude. WA6ED for the SOARA Saturday TechNet. And Happy New Year, everybody. Have a great Saturday. Thank you for participating. It's always fun. And if you can't have a little bit of fun with AM radio, you need to go do something else. But you know what? There's a lot of fun things that you can do. I'm winding inductors in its own weird way for a QMX Plus. And in its own weird way, it's very therapeutic, but it's kind of fun to get them done. And it's even fun testing them to make sure the inductance is pretty close. So anyway, that's what I've been doing for the past couple of days, winding inductors. And I hope to be done with inductors today. All right, 73 everybody. Have a great weekend. And this net is now closed. We'll return this repeater and frequency back to normal use. WA6ED clear.
Yeah, apologies there to Dale and Claude. I zoned out as soon as I heard Pacificon and started thinking down that path, and my ADHD caught a hold of me. Anyhow, everybody have a good one. W6DS.
Morning, David. next time that happens, I'll just say, Dale, just hand it over to Dale, and then maybe you'll catch it. But that was kind of funny. But all in fun, and have a good one, and good luck on your AI endeavors. In fact, at work we used AI for some stuff for spreadsheets, and my boss wanted to do it, so I let him. It's okay. He had to retrain it over and over and over. Every time some little thing he wanted to change, sometimes it was a lot of work. So anyway, hopefully it won't be that way for you. WA6ED.
Yeah, a buddy of mine who unfortunately just recently passed away worked a lot in AI, and he told me be careful with working with some of the AI engines out there, because they're not necessarily, they'll hallucinate and they'll take you down a bad path, so you can't necessarily trust them. You have to check their work. So it's more like working with an intern. So check their work and make sure. And if you call them out on a mistake, they'll go, oh, yeah, right, I'm sorry. And then they'll correct their mistake. So you'll get there by successive approximation. And the result you'll get is actually pretty good, but getting there might be a rocky road. Anyhow, have a good one, Ed. Enjoy your toroid winding. And I wish I could solder. I can't do that anymore, but who knows? Maybe I'll get a QMX assembled. Sounds like fun. W60.
WA6ED. Well, Claude just ordered one and received one assembled, so you might talk to Claude, and hopefully he'll bring it to the next SOARA Saturday. That would be cool. Hook it up to Term or something and play around with it and run the diagnostics and things like that. Very interesting radio. So that's why I'm building another one. I wanted to be able to take measurements off a second sample, but that was before people started getting them and building them and buying them and stuff. So maybe get more samples that way. I'll catch you later. WA6ED clear.
AJ6 Echo Echo, good morning. Late check-in. I've been listening for about a half hour. Everybody have a happy New Year. I'm over here tinkering with APRS and computer-linked APRS fun.
Okay. Well, I'll write you down, but it won't mean much because we already closed the net. Sorry.
I understand. It's more important just to say hello.
Well, it's a good day to do that. It's kind of rainy outside, so ham radio is a good alternative than going outside and getting rained on. That's for sure. Any new projects lately?
Yeah, I've been working on this, getting the computer linked to the radio. I actually bought a 510, Yaesu 510, about a week and a half ago. Wonderful radio. I like it. So that's been fun, and I got my computer linked to it through DigiRig, and I'm running APRS in and out with an app on my laptop, so I can actually type messages, APRS messages on the laptop. Really hard to do on the little tiny screens of the radios, but so that's been fun. And then I'm making a Go kit for the G90, and I've got a Radioddity QB25 little tiny FM UHF VHF radio. So putting that all together.
Sounds like you're busy. That's good. Yeah, I picked up a backup FT70D, which is what I have in my car, and I could not download the settings and stuff on the one in my car, the older one, until I updated firmware. That's kind of scary, actually. So once I updated firmware, it says, well, erase everything. And I said, nope, I'm going to download everything and save it into a file. And I did, and I'm sure I have backup somewhere else. But you got to be careful with firmware on these. I don't think Yaesu does a really good job of keeping things compatible across firmware builds. So anyway, I got it all figured out, got it done, and got it erased just so that and then reloaded, and didn't lose anything. Be careful with Yaesu. That's all I got to say. I think they should have forward and backward compatibility on firmware, and they don't apparently, because I could not download the firmware off the older one. I could download and upload on the newer one, but not the old one, until I updated firmware. Pretty crazy. All right, Kevin, I'll let you go. I'm going to go wind toroids. I'll catch you later. WA6ED.
All right, Ed. Yeah, that's really surprising to me. I have a lot of Yaesu radios, but things happen. I'm glad you're able to work around it. That's part of the fun. All right. Enjoy the day, AJ6E.